there's a part of me that's just like, I feel like I should be so much further on in my career than I am right now.
How many men have you kissed?
How many men? Oh, wow, really? Why did I not get that part?
As a husband, I get to blow that trumpet in metaphorically, literally.
Wow. All of the situations, the encounters, the memories, the things that you've noticed, the time that you've taken to spend with yourself, to spend out in the world, to spend noticing, all of that is being alchemized into the art that is going to come out of you.
Hello and welcome to the Art of Us podcast. We are your hosts.
I am Beth.
And I'm Jamarl. We're a couple. We've been married for over 9 years. And today's episode is going to be about interviewing the beautiful Bethany Billy on her acting and creative portfolio and her career.
Exclusive content.
So this podcast is all about exploring the highs and lows of a long-term relationship and a marriage and navigating that together and building a life together. And in kind of ode to that, we're exploring about the experience Beth has had as an actress, how that's impacted her as a human being, how that's impacted us as a couple, and how we navigate having creative careers, figuring out how to pay the bills, how to have fun, but then also how to stay together in all of that ups and downs. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it should be fun.
I got my trusty notepad.
I don't really know where you're gonna go with it, but we shall see.
That's what the notepad will tell us, won't it?
So, Jamal's written some questions down that I am going to attempt to answer.
Yeah, I just thought because I'm kind of interviewing my wife, which is strange. So I wanted to try and actually write things down, because otherwise I would just go here, then everywhere, because I know so much about you that this podcast would just not be very focused at all. And I would
you're also a professional rambler as well.
As you can already tell. So here we are. But yeah, so Beth, let's start from the very beginning.
Let's start from the very beginning. I feel like nearly every episode we're hitting this song.
I mean, well, you say we. let's
You're setting me up though.
What is your passion for acting? So start at the very beginning. No, start at the very beginning without the song. What is your passion for acting, your passion for creative careers? Because you do acting, photography, you're a video editor, you also do website design, all-round creative freelancer. Where did the passion start?
Where did it start?
Yeah.
In my gut. Where did it start? Oh gosh. When I grew up, I didn't have access to many films or TV or anything like that, because I was living kind of out in the middle of nowhere in Malawi. But we did have about 5 DVDs, which I just like rinsed on repeat. Mm-hmm. And it was just like the most magical thing to watch and just explore and escape into all these worlds that were being created. And I always remember looking at the actors in it and being like, it's so incredible that these are people that have other lives outside of like being, I don't know, all these characters. Like, aren't they just not those characters? Because it's so real. It's so real to me. And I also like found myself watching everyone who was watching the films. I'd spend my time looking at people, watching the films and like seeing their reactions, seeing them laugh, seeing them cry, seeing their heartstrings being pulled or like their own stories being reflected, and just being like, wow, it's actually like a superpower, making stories, like creating art through film or through TV or through poetry or through anything that moves a person. It's literally a superpower, I think, to be able to embody a human being. It still kind of blows my mind that, you know, people do it so well and that I do it. Hopefully well.
Yeah, you do it well. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, the feedback you get from every time you do a performance.
Just bragging on myself to you.
Yeah, you're just relaying the truth. It's just the truth. Wow, that's really interesting. And so take us through the process of what it means to get an acting job, because I think there's a really glamorized idea of what acting is. We see the movies, see these massive blockbusters, and we see like, I don't know, like Meryl Streep and like Dame Judi Dench just like absolutely killing it on these bigger stages. But the majority of actors, there's a big base of actors who are just kind of plugging away at the process of even getting to get a job. So take us through what it's like as an actor. You get a call and you've suddenly got this opportunity. What do you have to do, and what's the process?
So it's usually, if you're lucky enough to have an agent, which I thankfully do, you would be sent an audition from your agent, and you'd basically get sent something called a breakdown, where it tells you as much as they can about a project. Sometimes it's a lot, sometimes it's literally a few sentences. And then you can see like your character breakdown, and you basically learn a script, just like find your own interpretation, your own take of what is on the page. And usually you tape it at home. So the first audition is usually something called a self-tape, where you would basically set up a camera and film yourself doing the audition and then send it off and hope for the best.
We've been doing these for a long time. So when I met Beth, when Beth was about 15, so we're 28, you're 28, I'm 29 now. So 13 years ago, we've done a couple of other episodes about more of our story. So you can go back and watch or listen to those if you want. But about 13, 14 years ago, when I met Beth, she already had an agent and she was already auditioning and doing this process. And so I had come into the relationship and started to help you do auditions, which was really strange, like doing self-tapes and reading the other lines behind the camera. Do you remember that? What's it like?
I think initially when you started doing it, I was like, oh man, this is really nerve-wracking, because you're now watching me like mess up or do whatever I do, like behind the scenes. But yeah, I think you're definitely my favorite like scene partner behind the camera, like when I'm auditioning, because I've had a few people over the years that have like read in lines for me when I'm auditioning. But yeah, you really, I don't know, there's something about your energy, maybe it's just our connection,
probably,
that I feel like really safe to just explore when I audition.
Oh, that's good. I mean, I feel like I want to give you the best shot because it matters to us both that you do well.
Financially.
Well, just also just in general, like it's good for you. And I think my experience of watching Beth audition as a couple, how it's affected us as a couple, is that it's almost like Beth has to do a job interview for like every opportunity. It's like when you're working a normal job, you do your one job interview and then you've got the job, you're guaranteed your income, you're guaranteed your hours, you're guaranteed projects that you work on, you build yourself up. But with Beth, it's like not only does she have the skills to do the job, she has to prove to like these big executives every single time that she has the ability to do what she already knows she has to do.
Sometimes it's not even the ability though. Sometimes they just have a picture of who they want in their head and you're just not it. Even if you're a good actor, it just doesn't matter sometimes. It just all depends on such little things.
Yeah, it's a very aesthetic job. Like your body and your face are what people see, and the way you perform, the way you embody the character is what people see. So how is it for you navigating things like body image and self-confidence and stuff when you're faced with these opportunities?
Good question.
Boom, drop that one in. That wasn't in the pre-prep questions, not on the notepad. I'm already off book. I'm already off book, everyone.
Off book.
It's off.
Wow. It is definitely interesting to navigate because, especially back in the day, like not so much now, people would tell you if you didn't look right. They would like say it and
Like
you'd be
what?
like, cool. I've been told I'm too small. I've been told I'm too pretty. I'm being told
It's not a bad thing. But I guess you're not getting the job.
But I've been told that a few times now. And I'm like, what do you want me to do? Just
I
like
ain't complaining.
walk into a wall and then come into the audition? And I don't know, just like little things like your thighs are too big or you're like this. Just, things that are like very specific about you that is just not great to hear. I think it's just like practice over the years to just let it all roll off your back. I think initially it's a lot. You kind of like, I know I kind of went into my head and just like self-analyzed everything, and then that doesn't make you give a good performance anyway, because you're thinking about yourself and your body and how you look, and that means that you're not actually you're not in it, you're not performing, you're being self-conscious. And everything to do with acting is about not being self-conscious. It's about being present in the moment and letting all of that go.
Props are getting involved now. Amen. That's really well said.
Yeah. It's an exploration into like the depths of humanity. It's an opportunity to explore the depths of humanity, and you can't be doing that if you're thinking about the pimple in your face. Because you're thinking about you're not thinking about their depths.
Yeah, that's true. It's really good. So we've been together the whole time you've been an actor. I'm thinking about your personal growth, your maturity, but also your faith. How do you feel like over those years, starting from auditioning way back in, I don't know, 2010, 29? Is that even a thing? It's 2009. It was before you could even use 20 as a a prefix for the year. That's crazy. Yeah. That's how long you've been going.
I know.
2009.
I think that's another thing as well that I've kind of battled with over the years. It's like I've been doing this for a really long time. There's a part of me that's just like, I feel like I should be so much further on in my career than I am right now.
Interesting. Yeah. Oh, let's drop that, park it, and come back round to it towards the end of the podcast, because I've got a few questions along those lines.
Yeah.
But I kind of want to explore that a bit more because it's a big thing.
Yeah.
But I also feel like if we go into it now, we will go into the stratosphere and I won't get to the questions that are on the notepad, the trusty notepad that I really want to explore.
The trusty notepad.
And one of them was around, longevity, but also faith, having that desire and being a woman of faith and knowing that God has created you to do something. You feel like you've been created for this purpose, but this purpose isn't always as straightforward. For example, you've gone times without getting a job. You've gone I don't know, you've got to the last round of an audition and you've been literally between one or another person. You haven't got it. Times of rejection. How do you feel like you're able to stay faithful to what you want to do and to God through all of that craziness? Because it's wild. It's wild out there.
I mean, it's kind of two questions, really. Like, how I stay faithful to what I want to do is that I'm so passionate about it that I don't feel like I could stop.
Oh, that's
It's
good.
like, when you're so hungry, you just have to eat.
You gotta eat.
You just gotta eat.
So those times when you go to the fridge and you open it, there's nothing in there, and then 2 minutes later you go back to the fridge just hoping you've missed something. And you've opened the fridge 4 or 5 times in the same evening, knowing there's nothing in there, but just hoping maybe this time there'll be something.
Maybe this time.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm a very empathetic person. And I feel like acting is a way for me to embody empathy. And it feels like it's an extension of myself to be able to offer to people a reflection of humanity and of reality. And even sometimes of some things that aren't reality. Like to offer a new perspective of expanding your horizon of possibilities. that is something that I feel like is really exciting to me, and why I would want to continue doing this, and I have continued doing this. In terms of my faith, I've been very angry at God at some times. Just being real.
That's fair.
So we're like, God, why? Yeah. Why did I not get that part? That was just like, I really, really wanted. I just know that it's an intrinsic part of my calling is to tell stories in this way, in this medium. And I feel like that is from God. And I also feel like if Jesus was here today, he'd be an actor.
Ooh, controversial. You heard it here first. Heard it here first on the Art of Us podcast. Jesus would have been an actor.
He would have been an actor.
Mic drop moment. Well, I mean, who knows?
I just think, because we were talking about this earlier, about God. He sent his son, is God embodied in human form. We have someone buzzing our door.
This is really bad timing. We're trying to record a podcast. Anyway.
Yeah, he sent his son.
Okay, go again.
To experience human form. So he stepped into the shoes of a human being. Mm-hmm. Which is like, kind of like what an actor does, just stepping in the shoes of another person. And he was a storyteller. And I think that's pretty sick.
Yeah, I mean, he was definitely creative.
I want to be like Jesus. Don't know about you, I want to be like Jesus.
Let's get into the tea. I know everyone, whenever you tell people you're an actor, and whenever I tell people that my wife is an actor, the first thing they'll say is, oh, but what about when she has to do a sex scene? Or what about when she has to like kiss another person? Like, how does that feel? Like, how do you do that? And so let's spill the tea. And I've got my cup here, so I'm just going to drop this question.
You put your mouth on their mouth.
So Beth, what's it like kissing? And first of all, how many men have you kissed?
How many men? Oh, wow, really? Dang.
And then I'm going to vomit over here off camera while you talk about it.
How many men? I'm not going to go into how many men I've kissed.
I'm joking. But like, what's it? Yeah, like, how would you answer someone who's asked you that about how can you, as a married woman and as a woman of faith?
Every single job opportunity that has some kind of physical intimacy with someone, we always talk about it. Like accepting the job, doing the job. And I know that there's going to be some kind of scene in there, or I've been in the script and I read it and I'm like, okay, this is going to happen. Like, we chat about it and then we discuss, like, if you're okay, are we comfortable? Should I proceed? Like, if you said no to a job because of something, I'd be quite surprised if you did, unless it was like super just crazy.
Like 50 Shades of Grey or Nymphomaniacs or something like that.
Your opinion is always first priority. So if you weren't comfortable with something, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, that's fair.
At the end of the day, in terms of my relationship with God in it, it's like, it's my responsibility to keep my heart right in that situation. And the same, like, if you were to do those kind of scenes, it's your responsibility to keep your heart right in that situation. I don't have control over that.
Wow, that's a really good point.
But I wouldn't say that I enjoy it.
Oh, me neither.
No.
I do not like it at all, like watching it. But I can appreciate the reason. And I think that's the difference, is like, I don't need to always like be excited to watch those scenes to prove that I'm like on board with what Beth's doing. But at the same time, like, I can appreciate the need for that scene if it's part of the story, which is part of the career that Beth has chosen to be a storyteller. And
it's part of reality as well. Yeah. People kiss.
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't ever. But...
Fingers crossed. Yeah, but I mean, it's for me as a husband, it's like there is definitely the obvious things that people would say. Yeah, it's not easy to watch, and I don't like it, and I wouldn't choose for Beth to just go and kiss people like in general, but it's like in this very specific context, in a very protected safe environment with like intimacy coordinators, other people involved, and also having done it for a long time. Like I've known Beth as an actor for 14 years. So it's kind of been our reality for most of our marriage.
Pre our marriage.
Yeah, pre our marriage, yeah. So it's one of those things where it's like, if it's necessary for the story and it's relevant and it's not disproportionate to what the message of the story is, or even the scale of the production as well, that definitely comes into play. Not that I'm trying to pimp you out to the highest bidder.
No, but I have done like a project that I'm not happy with the content of it, like looking back on it now. And especially because of the scale of it, I think it was unnecessary. So there's also me living with the consequences of that. And yeah, that's hard to deal with.
Yeah. And I think it's also like the knowing a bit about the culture of Hollywood and the culture of being on set, which we'll come on to in a sec. Like for me, there is that element of like, are you protected and are you safe in that environment? Because like, I do not want anything horrible or bad to happen. I don't think I'd be able to like let it go. But at the same time, yeah, it's like, is it really necessary? And we discuss it on a case by case situation. And I think like also you haven't actually done anything super explicit like yet, at least. So you haven't ever done nudity. No. You haven't done like nude sex scenes and things like that. And I don't know, we've never had to cross that bridge, and I'm not sure if we ever will. I don't know. But I feel like kissing and displaying intimacy, displaying you're in a relationship, you know, things like that are proportionate to normal life and the life of the story, that's great. But a film like 50 Shades of Grey, or, you know, a film where it's literally like the whole project, the whole premise is about sexual attraction and sexual intimacy. As a married couple, that would be a different ballgame, which we haven't had to explore yet.
Yeah. And I think as well as also thinking about how it actually plays out on set. It's not sexy. It's not romantic. Like, it may look good. That's because, like, there's a bunch of 40 middle-aged men that have set it up to look really attractive. Yeah, because there's lighting, the camera angles. Like, you have to kiss at a certain angle sometimes to get the lighting right, or, like, to get the camera angle. Like, it's mechanical, and it's not romantic as well. And I think if you're also very open with your scene partner about how you're feeling and like your boundaries and their boundaries and everything like that, then it's a relatively smooth process. Yeah, that's how it is.
Okay, so Beth would never do this. Beth would never name drop because she's so humble and kind and beautiful. She would never talk about the scale to which she's worked on, and you would probably never know if no one actually said it. But as a husband, I get to like blow that trumpet in metaphorically, literally.
Wow.
You know what I'm talking about.
You get to blow the trumpet. You have the trumpet. That's
true actually, yeah. But that thing kind of worked, did it? But
we know what you mean. Move on quickly.
So, Robert Downey Jr., Michael Fassbender, Tim Burton, Marion Cotillard. Let's see, who else can I think of on the top of my head? Danny DeVito. All of these incredible high-level actors. You know, these people that you're rubbing shoulders with day in, day out in various capacities on set, in and around that space. First of all, do you ever get starstruck? And second of all, do you ever get like an inspirational type vibe? So like, who are the people that you're inspired by as like, yeah, I really respect you. I really like what you do and carry. And who are the people that, if ever, you've been like starstruck by, like you're just speechless? Or if you ever get that.
I'd say weirdly, I haven't actually got starstruck.
Because you are the star, baby.
Oh, wow.
Let's go. Go. You don't take a picture because you just see it again. That's a line from Childish Gambino. Wow. But anyway.
Good quote. The most like, wow, I felt inside.
Inspired, like excited.
Yeah. Was working with Antonio Banderas. I think because I loved Zorro growing up, and yeah, he was just incredible as Zorro and like my absolute hero. And then to be able to like have a chat with him and stuff, and him show me some of his sword tricks that he learned on Zorro, like that was kind of crazy.
A full circle moment.
Yeah.
That
was kind of little child me, like, wow.
Yeah.
But actually, I would say the most inspirational person I've worked with isn't necessarily famous.
Wow, that's cool.
Amy Alexandra.
Oh, Amy.
Yeah.
Shout out Amy.
Shout
we love
out Amy. She's amazing. I think because we actually met on a film probably about 6 years ago now or something like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she really helped me navigate a situation that I was being put in as an actress that was not healthy. Mm-hmm. And if it wasn't for her, I probably would have gone through with a situation that I wouldn't have been happy with, just out of people pleasing. Mm-hmm. And ever since then, like, she's my go-to person for sort of industry advice, and she's so giving and loving and kind and down to earth, and also like a big mama bear, you know, like, you know, she has your back. Yeah, and she's super talented. She's as well. Crazy talented, which kind of is just like, she's amazing. Cherry on top of the icing, on top of the cake. Whoo, she good. Wow. And yeah, similarly, working with those big people, you're also working with big budget productions in varying different capacities. So what's it like, kind of, you're working with these people, you're rubbing shoulders with people who are like the highest paid people in Hollywood, and then we're coming home back to our 1-bedroom flat, and we're coming back to, you know, the kitchen sink leaking, the washing up that needs to be done, and the boiler that's not like doing hot water well enough, and all these just like normal, very much like working class vibes, and like navigating that relative anonymity that you have at the moment compared to some of the people that you literally go to work with and rub shoulders with every day. I mean, you were talking about some people who have trailers on set that like literally they have like a whole like park set up just for their trailer, and they've got like artificial grass, and they've got like canapes and all these things. So it's like that compared to our current like working class creative freelance living of just kind of still figuring out how to pay bills whilst pursuing the things we love. How do you find that dynamic? That's a good question. I haven't really thought about it before, to be honest. Like, do you feel like there's any envy that creeps in, or frustration, or is it difficult? Do you struggle with that, or are you at peace with where you were at in your journey, and it doesn't kind of strike you as like, oh, it's difficult? I think those types of scenarios don't make me think about our situation as much. I think watching friends have their lives transformed by roles, mm-hmm. I think that makes me more aware of our situation. Mm-hmm. I think like I have some friends that, yeah, their lives have been completely changed within the span of the last few years. So within a span of knowing them. Within the span of knowing them, yeah. Mm-hmm. Knowing them pre-fame and then knowing them post-fame. Yeah. And seeing how their life has transformed in good ways, and also in ways that are very challenging. Yeah, I think seeing that makes me reflect on my own journey and my own sort of career progression. And yeah, it's definitely hard sometimes to not like compare and yeah, I guess like envy in some way, but that's definitely something that I try not to entertain. And that's, yeah, something between me and God, just to like work through together and stuff, and turn whatever that feeling is into a reflection of like, why do I feel this way? Also like, can I turn this into pure joy, happiness, excitement for them, and also for the possibilities that lay in front of me.
Yeah, that's so good. Yeah, and it's kind of similar really to our fertility journey that we've talked about a lot as well, in the sense that we, even though like seeing other people have fertility breakthroughs and have babies and build family and stuff is so beautiful. Yeah, there's obviously that obvious awareness that that's what we want.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful, but it's like the end, it doesn't have to be envious and bitter. It doesn't have to cause a recoil. If anything, it's like the blessing is on its way, because everywhere I look, things are happening. And it's like if I'm in and around that kind of space energetically, if I'm with these people, it's like the blessing is on its way.
Yeah. And if you choose to place yourself in that situation as well, if you choose to surround yourself with successful people, rather than like being in that environment with successful people and feeling like, oh, they have this, I don't have that, like blah, blah, blah. I need to like get away from them because it makes me feel bad about myself. Energetically, like you said, I don't think that is calling in abundance into your life.
Yeah,
that
definitely.
is kind of repulsive to abundance.
Exactly. And it's like, I remember ages ago, years and years ago, I listened to a lot of TD Jakes, incredible pastor, incredible speaker, and he was talking about that story in the Bible when Jesus did that miracle where he fed 5,000 people, and he was like, imagine being the 5,000th person that got fed. Like inevitably you're going to be seeing like thousands of people get fed after being hungry for hours, and you're there like, where's my portion, like what's going on? And like it wasn't ever that God's intention was to not feed the 5,000th person, but because we live in this time constricted plane of reality, that's just the way things go. And it does just because someone else is getting blessed in the way you want to be blessed doesn't necessarily mean that
it takes away from your blessing.
Yeah, your blessing isn't coming. So they're not dependent of
exactly.
And I think
they're independent.
I feel like I can relate a lot to that with the fertility stuff that we've been going through. And I think that has probably given us so much more resilience as a couple to be able to navigate this creative freelancing, like up and down kind of situation, because we've got resilience from other circumstances.
Yeah, definitely.
So
One sec, I had a thought and it's kind of floating away slowly.
No, come back. Come back
into my brain. Oh yeah, what I was going to say is that the artist's journey is so different person to person. And that if we are able to find that space within ourselves to sit within patience, then that is like the ultimate gold. Because to be able to actually like take a moment, breathe, realize that like you don't have to be running. The creative world within you is formed through living. And I think it's so easy to get in your head as an artist with like, oh, I need to be doing this, I need to be doing that, I need to be going here, I need to be going there, I need to be networking here. Like, why aren't I getting another job? Like, I need to be pushing, I need to be like getting audition, blah, 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 blah. When that is like all here. All of it is here.
In your head.
And you need to be here.
In your heart.
In order, well done.
Just for those who are not watching like... YouTube and listening in,
pointing out the anatomy.
That's
need to be in your heart and in your body, because that is where all of your best work is created. All of it, as an artist. Like there'll be an element of your head, but like if you're going to embody art, it's literally in the name, embodiment.
Yeah. So good. And so coming back round to the idea that it's been a while since you've...
Kissed you.
yeah, and that.
I'm joking.
But it's been a while since you started that longevity of seeing other people get success when you're, like still looking at scaling up your acting. and having had opportunities in the past that have built momentum and then stalled, and it's been up and down. It's not a linear process ever. I know at the start of the podcast, we were kind of talking about you've been at it a long time. So what's it been like to kind of build that creative career and even feel like, I don't know, diversifying your creative talents as a response to not having as many acting jobs? Like, how has it been for you, like doing this for so long and still having hope?
Sorry, what's the question?
I don't really know.
It was a very long question that went in different directions.
Coming back to the idea that you have been doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
And what's it like for you to like have done this a long time, see other people kind of blow up, and relatively, even though I think you've done so well, I'm so proud of you, and the resilience of what you've had to go through as well as creative stuff is amazing. But what's it like for you to, just have been at this a long time and not be where you want to be?
I think that going back to what I was saying about the art within you is created through living. And I saw another actor post something about this the other day that I was like, oh yeah, that really hit me. She said, oh, I haven't booked an acting job in the last like year or so. And it made me feel really down. But then I realized that I'd been spending the last year or so living. Realizing that all the time that you're not working at the highest capacity of the job, it doesn't mean that that time is wasted.
Love that.
Even though it could feel like it has been, but it's not. It's all stuff that's being gathered and stored and like nurtured and what's that word? Alchemized.
Oh, alchemized, yeah.
Yes.
That's transmuting, transforming from one material to another, yeah.
That's it.
Love that.
All of the situations, the encounters, the memories, the things that you've noticed, the time that you've taken to spend with yourself, to spend out in the world, to spend noticing, all of that is being alchemized into the art that is going to come out of you.
Preach. She better preach. Yeah, that's so good. So good. Wow. And on that note, I feel like that's a brilliant place to end this podcast. It's been such a pleasure to interview you from as much as objectively as I can, as your husband.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Acting.
It is kind of weird just being like on the hot seat. Usually like we do the videos, together, or we like plan it. I didn't really know what you were going to ask, so it was.
Neither
I was a little bit nervous.
I mean,
actually,
the notebook barely got a look in.
Huh?
I barely looked at the notebook, to be honest.
Oh. Well done. You did well.
I was off scripts for most of it.
It was good.
No, it was really fun, and I think actually it just shines a light on how far you've come personally as an actress, but also as an individual. Like you were saying, like the fact that everything we go through, even the infertility and the health stuff, and they're being married for 9 years whilst trying to figure out creative careers, trying to make money, all that stuff, even though it feels so constricting sometimes, actually means that our unique lived experience informs everything that we do. And we bring that authenticity into our art. And that was just
definitely
a powerful message to end on.
And it shows you how you can, I think the times when you're not working, sorry, I'm totally going back into it again. The times where you're not working, highlights to you how multifaceted you are as a human being. Yeah. That you're not one-dimensional. You're not like, you are only an actor. You have so many things about you. Like, you have so many just pieces of gold that you could just do anything with. Like, it doesn't have to come out only in that form. Because it's so easy to just be like laser focused and then not expand your horizons in any other directions. That's what I found.
So good. So true. Well, thank you for listening to my questions and answering. And yeah, thanks for watching and thanks for listening in wherever you're listening to this podcast. This has been the Art of Us podcast. I'm Jamarl, and this is Bethany Billy, the beautiful, wonderful Bethany Billy. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel where you'll see this video, or listen wherever you get your podcasts. And also, yeah, follow us on socials. We've got an Art of Us podcast social media platform, as well as our personal socials. We'll link that in wherever the description is for this podcast. So thanks so much, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye.